Once again, we are cutting across to Russian President Vladimir Putin's annual press conference.
К вам обратился и Коршунову Виктору Николаевичу.
Question and to Mr. Korshunov. Let me say this. We've sent 10 billion rubles to the regions.
Оперативно реагировать на те вопросы, которые еще не решены и которые связаны с закупкой СИЗОВ, там, средств индивидуальной защиты, подготовкой лечебных заведений, учреждений для борьбы с ковидом. И 5 миллиардов.
And 5 billion rubles more have been earmarked exactly for this reason, for the free medication for people who are treated at home. Now, let me turn to the region of Ryazan. I know for a fact that all the funds have been transferred to Ryazan. Why is this happening? Why people are not getting the free medication yet is unclear. We will look into this. The procedure for getting the medication is simple. You go to the inpatient clinic, they confirm the diagnosis, and they supply you with the medication. And that's it. Alevtina, I know this for a fact. All the petitions that you've got, we will look into them on a systemic matter, and we will most definitely respond to this. Let me reiterate, 10 billion was sent to the regions, and 5 billion as a mean to fund direct aid to people. Where are the money? We're going to find out. But rest assured, all the funds have been transferred to the regions. I'm in direct contact with the governors. Some of them are in charge of the regions mentioned just now, and they've reassured me that all the supplies are there, that the situation is normal. Well, there are exceptions, of course. We'll look into this, but judging by the scope of petitions, this is a systemic issue. We will look into this. All right, let's go back to the World Trade Center now, and let's start with this flank. Please pass on the mic. Just give your affiliation. Mr. President, RAN TV channel. Thank you for the vaccine. The scientific community is grateful. Well, we are talking about the pandemics, but we still don't know the source of this threat. China is accused by the United States. We don't know about if it's an artificial or a natural disease. Maybe the intelligence services have been tasked with finding out the origins of it. Well, you know, there are plenty of gossips, but I'm not going to spread these rumors and broadcast it nationwide. Besides, we see no evidence to substantiate this gossip. It appears to me that it's not the time to point fingers. We need to join the ranks and fight the disease together. That would be the right thing to do. Now, some of our Western partners consistently emphasize the humanistic underpinnings of their foreign policy and their domestic policy. Now, why wouldn't they think more about people who were especially vulnerable? What about lifting the restrictions, the trade restrictions, the sanctions against countries that suffer the most? That to provide assistance that's critical to fighting the coronavirus, at least lift the restrictions on medication supplies, on doctors' training. This is should be the focus right now, and not finding a scapegoat. Thank God we have a good and productive cooperation with many countries, including China, both on the highest level and on the scientific community level. Well, speaking of the intelligence services, well, they're tasked with plenty of things, but this is not the proper place and time to discuss this task. Your colleague has just questioned the voiced out the possible interference into our elections. Well, I just thought that we should be prioritizing other things. But this is a general question, and this is a shared concern for many. Well, of course, there will be powers trying to interfere into elections. This is what's going on across the globe. We know that, we are ready for that, and we are getting prepared for that. Trust me when I say this, we will be ready to provide an efficient response to this. But there's an if. If the overwhelming majority of our citizens understand that this is the interference and that we have to counter this, that this is unacceptable, and that our citizens are in charge of their own destiny and they should take this ownership. So we need to take a look at how the media is protecting itself from interference. They should stand for their sovereignty. Now, having said that, we are completely open to cooperation with our partners. We are ready to welcome the international observers. I think it's the unique situation in the world. As far as I know, there is, I think, over a dozen of US states actually directly prohibit the presence of international observers at the local elections. Well, it's not like that here. We are ready to welcome the observers. We have the observers both within the country, we have the NGOs, we have the civil chamber on it. They have the permission to participate as observers. They are free to monitor the political processes as well as the political parties are entitled to this. So this is the track of our effort that we will be trying to emphasize. But the crucial thing is for our citizens to be confident in the openness, transparency of our elections, and that the results thereof are credible. Okay, let's just stay in the World Trade Center for a while. Alexander Gamov, one of the members of the President's journalist pool in high standing. Mr. President, thank you for this meeting, the nationwide meeting. I think it's a great time to come together and tell the truth to the people. You are well aware that the coronavirus has dealt a blow to the level of life, the living conditions of people across the country. People calling me back from the regions and saying that the life is as difficult as it has ever been. People have been poor, and the poor are getting poorer. The purchasing power of people is on the decline. Ruble exchange rate is falling. The mortality rate is on the rise. And the prices are creeping upwards starting September, perhaps August. So why it took until December to finally voice it up? Until the president is talking about it, the ministers will do exactly nothing about it. So the question is there a statewide program, the kind that you've been mentioning, that a week from now the prices will be all right? So is there a program like this that you are looking into? I speak for the website, the radio, and the TV channel Komsomolskaya Pravda. It is true, the situation is complex. I told you before that pandemic caused the closure of many production facilities. The unemployment is on the rise. The real income, the real disposable income of our citizens are lower, and it's not a trite fact, it is true. You said that this is probably the most difficult time of our lives. Well, it's not true. Back in 2000, 29% of the population have been living below the subsistence level. It's more than 30% of the population. Each one one person out of 3 was living beyond the poverty line. In 2017, we have hit the level of 12.3% of population beyond the poverty line. Today, regrettably, the amount of people is back to 13.5% of the population. It's a huge number. It's 20 million people. So you've been asking whether we have a plan. Well, of course we do. It's one of the top priorities we have, reduction of poverty.